Welcome to MBG Moves. My name is Helen Phelan, creator of Helen Phelan Studio. Today I have a quick core workout for you. We'll go ahead and get started by laying down on your back, and we're gonna look for our neutral spine. So think of your pubic bone and your hip points lining up along the same plane and float your legs up to a tabletop position. For your tabletop, you want your shins parallel to the ground and your knees stacked right on top of the hips. As you exhale out through the mouth, extend the right leg out straight on a diagonal without leaning into your favorite side, and come back to your tabletop. We'll continue to alternate, using your exhale to push the leg out and your inhale to draw the leg back to tabletop. Watch out for not letting your low back imprint and pull the knees to your chest. We want to be able to maintain the stacked and tabletop position. Inhale through the nostrils and exhale out through the mouth, really sighing dramatically so you can get a little deeper into your low belly muscles. Taking your time with this single leg stretch does not have to be about how many reps you do or how fast you go. Instead, we want to sync with our breath so that we can really dive way deeper into the details of the movement. Speaking of details, making sure that your shoulders aren't getting pulled and arched off the ground. We're really soft and released through the bottom of the neck and the shoulder area, so we're not adding more stress tension to a part of our body that tends to hold it pretty easily all on its own. The next time that right leg is straight, we exhale, we hold. Now, without moving this left leg or the pelvis, press that right leg down about 2-3 inches and float it back up. We repeat here. The closer the leg is to the floor, the more challenging it's gonna be. So it's sort of a choose your own adventure. You can always give yourself more support by keeping that leg a little higher. But you know you've gone too far if you start to feel that chest lift off the ground. So rib cage stay grounded, and that's when you tend to feel your shoulders wanna get more involved. So stay mindful of that low neck area. One last time, hold the leg extended, and now send it a few inches to the right, again without leaning to that right hip, and pull it back to the center. See if you can feel your right inner thigh. Inhaling to open and exhaling to close, making sure that the back ribs, that upper back, your thoracic spine is still anchored to the floor. As you can see, this is slow and controlled. It is not a race. It's the opposite, actually. Thinking about how slowly you can move through this to experience every single second of the sensations that are starting to come up. Soft shoulders, inner thighs, low abs. One last time, bringing it back to the center. Little mini break, pull it back to tabletop. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, fluttering the lips as you exhale, loosening up any tension in the face. That right leg goes straight one more time, but this time it becomes a circle. I want you to focus on the in of that circle so we still feel the inner thigh. Crossing your midline with that circle, and then just reverse it the other way. The lower it is to the floor, remember, the more challenge you're gonna get. So choose something that's challenging but sustainable for you. Finishing out that circle by hugging both knees into your chest, looking right, looking left, just to keep that neck nice and soft. And we'll even out on side two. Left leg extending out straight, and let's soften it down and lift it back up. As you're pressing this leg down, I want you to think of hugging the belly button towards the spine and then letting it float up really easily. So there's some pressure on the way down, but think as light as you can as you float it back up. This leg doesn't get to move, so watch out if it gets a mind of its own. Keep it right in that tabletop position, floating that left leg up and down for 3. Make sure you're breathing. 2 and 1. Hold it out there. Little side sweep and back to the center. Inhale, open only as far as you can without knocking into that left butt. So keep both hips evenly distributed, weight evenly distributed in both hips evenly pressed through the floor. We're here for another few deep breaths. Think in terms of your breath instead of in terms of reps. Last 2. And 1, you can come in for your mini break, bring that knee to tabletop. Inhale, again, we're gonna flutter the lips on the exhale to soften the face. Left leg extends out straight, little circles up and around, squeezing that left inner thigh to the center. Make sure your shoulders are still released into the floor, your back is still heavy on the ground, reversing that circle almost to the end. Do not hold your breath, whatever you do. Last 3, 2, find those low abs. 1, hugging both knees into your chest. Again, look right. Look left. Maybe swirl those knees around in opposite directions just to loosen up those hip flexors. I like to call that buttering up the hip joint. And then you're gonna use your abdominals to rock yourself up to a seated position and find your all fours. So, getting into your quadruped or your all fours position, give me shins flat to the ground instead of curled under. We'll get there in just a second. And then just warm up that upper back with a few scapula push-ups. So for your scapula push-ups, you want to think squeeze the shoulder blades together and then lift to spread them wide. One more time, lifting, spreading those shoulder blades wide. Also unshrugging your shoulder blades away from your ears. You're gonna reach right arm and left leg. Let's pause here for a second. My arm is reaching forward, my toes are reaching back, but I'm not arching my back or trying to get that leg so high that I lose my abdominals. So slightest ever tuck of your pelvis to hug the abdominals in, squeezing through that left glute and not shrugging through your right shoulder. This is when we like to creep into the tuck of the right toes. So I know it's harder, but we press the shin into the floor. Taking it back to the ground, let's find that same position over on side 2. Left arm, right leg, squeezing through the right glute. Imagine someone's just gently pulling your leg in one direction and your arm in the other. And we'll take that a little bit more on time with our breath. Use your exhale to find the top of that position. Meanwhile, you're pushing away from the floor rather than sinking in to that bottom arm. Let's go. One more time. On either side, big reach, reach, reach. Last time, left arm, right leg. Coming back to that all fours position. This time you get to curl the toes under, and we're doing little knee hover taps. So you're gonna float the knees up and then rest them down on the ground, but don't put any weight in them. So keep those hips right over the knees, and exhale out the mouth to float up. Inhale, even just barely touching the floor here. Exhaling, we float up. Inhaling, we float down. I want to feel a nice wrapping and support around the spine each time we float up. In fact, the closer you can stay to the floor without actually touching it, the more challenging you're going to feel this in your low abs. So try not to let your butt come all the way up to the sky there. Little float. We have 2 more. Last time, you get a mini break. If your wrists are feeling sensitive, let's make a fist and unfist just really quickly a few times, because we are gonna be here a little bit longer. In this all fours position, now the knees float and we stay up without shifting your hips. Reach the right arm forward, crunch to pull it in. Don't let the hips move. Reach it back out, put that hand down. Left leg, so opposite leg, reaches out, squeezing through the glute. Curl your spine, crunch it in, and reach it all the way back out again. Opposite side, left arm. Reach, reach, reach. Curl it in. See how round my spine is here, like an angry cat? Reaching it all the way back out again. Opposite leg. Big reach, squeeze through the glute. Try not to lift your left knee up too high. Whew. Reaching it back out. One more flow through the whole thing. Right arm, reach, reach, reach. Crunching it in. Think pull something in with you. Look at your belly button. Reach it back out. Find that knee hover. Left leg, long, long, long. Curling it in. Pushing it back out. Last side, left arm. Curling it, pushing it in. Reaching it back out. Last leg. Reach, reach, reach. Crunch it in. All the way extended, and carefully lower those knees. Separate them as wide as your mat, and sit into your child's pose. Take a moment here, pressing the hands into the floor. And I want you to try and direct all your airflow into the back of your ribs, the back of your lungs. Big breath through the nose, trying to puff up that upper back and stretch out the lats, all those muscles that supported your knee hover. Exhale, just melting into the floor, softening all the tension that we just built up there. Walking your hands to the right of the mat. So you have a nice big side bend, and you're breathing into the left rib cage. Inhaling to expand through the left side of the body, pushing your hands down through the ground. We're walking your hands over to your last side. And once again, breathing through those right ribs, puff up the right lung like a balloon. And exhale, melting to the floor. Walking it back through the center, and slowly peel yourself up one vertebra at a time, starting from the base of your spine, and that is your core flow. You can try that core workout anytime you like. It's low impact enough for you to do every day, but I would shoot for a goal of 3 times a week to start. I hope you enjoy it.